Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. In his Independence Day speech, the Prime Minister has announced a high-powered demography mission to work within a fixed time frame. It's widely presumed this is to tackle the issue of illegal immigration. So today we ask, how should we respond to this proposal? Is illegal immigration the key demographic issue facing the country? And do we have a meaningfully accurate estimate for how many illegal immigrants might be in India? Those are the key issues I shall raise today with the chairman of the International Institute of Migration and Development, Professor Irudaya Rajan. Professor Rajan, on Independence Day, the Prime Minister announced a high-powered demography mission to work within a fixed time frame. Let me start by asking you, how do you view this proposal?
I think I view this proposal in a much more serious way. At the same time, this should have been told by him in his first independence speech in 2014, because this issue can be sorted out in 3 to 6 months. So why he had it after 11 years? I think he spoke in his first speech in 2014 to 125 crores countrymen. Today he is talking to 140 crore countrymen. So it is late announcement. It should have been announced much earlier, because this can be immediately can be sorted out. I don't think it's a big issue. Many countries have handled this undocumented migrants at many point of time. I can see that.
Now, I assume, Professor Rajan, that the Prime Minister's key concern is illegal immigration. Do we have authentic data to ascertain the number of illegal immigrants in India? I believe that in 2001, the Task Force on Border Management put the figure at 15 million. Today, almost 25 years later, do you have a reasonably accurate estimate of the number of illegal immigrants in the country?
No, I think the Prime Minister said about not the migration. He is talking in what is called himself. He talked about demography mission, but in that he mentioned what is called the undocumented migration. But please remember, undocumented migrants currently floating in the country are not based on any estimates. I normally tell them any data comes on migration, it has to be come by 3 ways. One is we call them direct estimates. I can directly estimate how many people are staying from Bangladesh illegally in our country. For that, you need a very good database system, which probably we may have, but it is not available in the public domain. That means whatever data is being floated is not the direct estimates. And I do indirect estimates, but not on the what is called the undocumented migration. But that is also not being done very correctly, indirect estimates, because you have direct estimates, you have indirect estimates. But what is now happening on the undocumented migration is, I call them guesstimates. 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 I guess maybe millions. I guess. I think that is where we have to divide demography from politics, migration from politics. That is very important, because nobody can provide you a reliable estimates. What is floating today in the country are guesstimates.
You're saying
Guesstimates.
a very important thing. You're saying we only have guesstimates for the number of illegal migrants in the country. We don't have any good, reliable, factual data. It's only guesstimates.
That's right. Even people who are talking about the estimate, they are basing that based on the 2011 population growth rate in some of the bordering district of the states. That means 2011 is now we are talking after 14 years. So you don't have any data to really estimate. And also people who are estimating has to be trained demographers. It cannot be, estimated by a politician. It has to be by a trained demographer. I would like the government should ask a demographer to come back on a demographic estimate. I don't want a demographic estimate provided by the non-demographer, not trained, and giving an estimate based on, this is what I would like to say at this moment.
So you're saying that the guesstimates that we have been derived by non-demographers. They are not based on demographic work. They are based on the work of non-demographers.
That's right. We need demographers has to be part of this population commission, or you call them demography commission. They should come back with a reliable estimates. Reliable estimates. I call them estimates. I want a indirect estimates based on the available data to come back with some number, which is not being done.
Let me ask you one more question about these guesstimates, which, as you say, have been done by non-demographers, not by demographers. What size of number are we talking about? Are we talking about a few million, tens of million? Any sense of the size of number?
It can be lakhs, by only millions. It can be lakhs also. It can be million. But what we are talking, because you are talking about a country which was part of independent India. It was part of Pakistan few years back. So please imagine India-Bangladesh border is a different type of border. So we have to talk about border politics. So the bordering is like it's a very, very, very narrow border, because people were moving between these areas for several years. Suddenly you set one border. India ends there. Bangladesh starts there. That is only for the administrative people, but the people will be moving. But please remember, whatever estimate you are quoting is belong to 2011, 2001 border control. But please remember, people who came as undocumented, probably got all their document required in our country, or they left, or they died, or they moved out of India to other countries. So even undocumented migrants are highly dynamic. You don't have a dynamic data. You have one-time figure which will not help to make any policies.
But you're saying a very important thing, Professor Rajan. You're saying the quantum, the number could be as few as lakhs. It could be as many as millions. We don't know. It could be as few as lakhs or as many as millions. We just don't know.
That's right. I think we should go with that, because, for example, there is a big crowd in gathering. Somebody say, oh, how many are gathered? Oh, 10,000. Somebody will say, no, a lakh. So it is who gives you the number will decide the number size. That's why I said background of the person who is giving the number is very, very important. That's why I said demographer, not a politician.
Tell me.
Demographer should give.
Tell me, as a leading expert on migration, how does illegal immigration impact on demography and also on the socio-economic conditions in the country? And when you answer, bear in mind that we already have a population of 1.4 billion. So how would illegal immigration impact our demography and impact the socio-economic conditions in the country?
Now, this is something I think it is for the broader audience. What will be the impact? For that, you have to compare the immigration with the emigration, because please remember, when you talk about demography mission, it is not just immigration. It talks about immigration. Demography is not migration. Otherwise, he should have said migration mission. He said demography mission. It's not such a demography has three components. I think people are chasing only one component. That itself wrong. Demography has three components: fertility, mortality, immigration, and emigration. For example, last 10 to 12 years, many people left India. What it matters? 10 million people left India and become citizens of another country. What it matters? Nothing. Suppose you get some lakhs of people who are undocumented staying there in our country. What will be the impact for 1.4 billion? Nothing. 0.0000 percentage. Zero. What? It has no implication for demography at all. If you are looking at a demographic phenomena of the illegal migration, it cannot be 100 million anyway. It is not going to add 1.4 to 1.5 billion. Some lakhs, some million, what it matters? Because it will not have your percentage wise 0.0000. You have 4 decimals. What it matters?
You're saying again a very important thing, Professor Rajan. You're saying whether the total quantum of illegal immigrants in the country is in lakhs or a couple of million. Whether it's in lakhs or a couple of million, it doesn't matter either way, because in percentage terms, it's a small fragment, a small fraction of the total population of the country.
That's right. For that, I want to give you a comparative perspective. Today, our country, we have legal migrants from our country. 14 to 15 million Indians are working anywhere in the world. What it matters for India? 15 million people are not here. They are working in America. They are working in Nepal. They are working in Gulf. Nothing. For India, we are not worried about the 14 million people who are not there. So I think you may get remittances. So I think we have to look at that. It is a beyond decimal points. Beyond decimal points. And also it will have implication in only some states. For example, when there was a Sri Lankan crisis, people were coming to Tamil Nadu because there was a Tamil language. So now when you talk about Bangladesh, there may be some border states. So it will have some implication for a particular state. So you cannot bring this as a phenomena for the country. It is a some state problem, some border area problem.
That's a very important point you're saying. Illegal immigration will be only a problem in border states, not nationwide. It's not a national problem.
Yeah, as a prime minister, for him it's a national problem, but it will affect, because you ask the question, the impact on the economy, impact on the social condition, it will affect only few states. It will take time for the Bangladeshis to come to West Bengal, then move to other states. It will take time. So they will concentrate maybe on West Bengal, maybe on the bordering Assam. So I think this is very important. So we have to, that's why I'm telling you, have to put the finger on those states, concentrate on that, because I can tell you this problem can be solved in 3 to 6 months. It can be fixed up.
Let me quote to you what the Prime Minister said in his speech on Independence Day when he announced this high-powered demography mission. He said, when demographic change happens, especially in border areas, it creates a crisis for national security, a challenge for unity, integrity, and progress. To what extent do you agree with him? To what extent do you differ?
No, I think the national unity, if they are getting into terrorism, that is a national security. It's very important, because he's a prime minister for the country. He's not a chief minister for a state. His views has to be different from a particular chief minister of particular state. So he is a national leader. You have state level leader. But please remember, still we are talking without any figures. And still we are talking that this is a Bengali undocumented. That means Bengali speaking migrants. And Bengali speaking migrants will be entering to the particular state. If they are entering in the particular state, we can really work with that particular state and solve the problem in the name of what I call them several times. I was telling to many countries is amnesty. Amnesty. Amnesty is the way to solve this problem in 3 to 6 months in our country.
You're saying we need an amnesty. In other
words, that's right. That's right. We need an amnesty. Please remember, many countries globally do this to solve this problem. Amnesty is a policy that gives legal status to individuals who are overstaying in another country. Now they are all overstaying here, either with a visa or they have entered without a legal document. So you can do the amnesty and then you can take two decisions. Either ask them to leave or give them citizenship.
Let me ask you this.
Ah,
The issue we're talking about often keeps reflecting on what we call Bangladeshi illegal immigration. It's certainly become a key political concern today. In your eyes, how serious a problem is illegal Bangladeshi immigration into India? How serious a concern is it?
no, demographically may not be very serious. Demographically, unless I know the number. But then people who are crossing the border are criminals, then even 100 people are entering, there's a problem. So it is depend upon the people who are crossing their characteristics, because please remember, Karan, they are talking some number, they are not giving any characteristics. They are giving some number. Are they males? Are they female? Are they young? Are they old? Are they students? So we have no idea about the characteristics of the undocumented migrants. Please remember that.
Can I ask you this? If
Yes.
people illegally crossing the border are not criminals, if they're simply coming because they want a better life, then how much of a problem is illegal Bangladeshi immigration?
Then you have to tweet your foreign policy on visas. On visas, it's a border. You have to give visas to them. You have to work with such a way that it's what is called the safe mobility, which is what we are talking in the sustainable development goal. Safe, legal, and orderly migration should happen between countries, and we have to facilitate, because we are what is called the big brothers. India is a big brother to other countries in South Asia. India is emerging as a world economy. India is emerging as number one in population. So they have to take a what is called the big role in organizing the border, so that people want to come and work, they should work. We are going to work in Dubai. We are getting visas. We are going. Why should not allow Bangladesh to come and work, or the Nepalese come and work? I think this should be a pre-mobility regime. We are talking about the sustainable development goals. So why we are particularly talking about only one country? People should not come to our country. They should come and work. We should go and work in Bangladesh. What is wrong in that?
Now, it's often said by politicians that proof illegal immigration has happened is that the population has grown disproportionately. I want to ask you, what is a bigger impact on population growth? Is it illegal immigration? Is it high birth rates? Or is it declining death rates? Which has a bigger impact on population growth?
No, population growth rate is a combination of birth rate minus death rate plus or minus migration. Plus or minus migration. That's why we call them plus or minus. Please remember that when you do the growth rate for the country, it is coming down. You know that India's population is growing at the lower growth than compared to the many countries. But please remember, some of the states will have higher growth rates because of the high fertility, like Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh growth rate cannot be because of undocumented migration. You can't say Uttar Pradesh is growing high growth rate. We call them historically Bimar state. Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. Their growth rate is high because of the high fertility and low mortality. But then some states like West Bengal, you think the growth rate is more than what you expect, then you can estimate how much the growth rate. You have to decompose the growth rate of population by natural increase and migration. Then you can tweet and come back with some indirect close estimates. You can come back.
Now, at the moment, we in India are terribly concerned about alleged illegal Bangladeshi migration into India. The truth is, Bangladesh also has a very large number of Rohingya refugees who crossed over illegally. They are perhaps 1.25 million at least, and they are mainly in the Cox's Bazar area. Let me ask you, how is Bangladesh coping with illegal Rohingya refugees, and are there lessons India can learn from Bangladesh?
I think this I would talk about the refugee policy in our country. I think India should look at it look forth and front, learn from their own experience of handling refugees. Currently, India hosts, I think, 6 to 7 refugees, starting with the Tibetan, starting with Sri Lankan refugees. Permis. You have lots of refugees are there in our country. Recently, Afghan refugees. So I think we should have some type of a humanitarian policy to talk about refugees, because refugees we need a very straightforward policy, because the refugee crisis is because of the something happening in the neighborhood. Like you have now Russia-Ukraine war. Ukrainians are become refugees. When there is war happening in the bordering our own country, then somebody will come in. So you should look at them in a humanitarian perspective. That's why I said we should not link migration and politics. We should not link refugee and politics. This is very, very important. Please remember, you are talking about Rohingyas today, but we were talking about Sri Lankan refugees several years back in Tamil Nadu. Elections, they will talk about Sri Lankan refugees. Please remember why they were talking Sri Lankan refugees in India, in Tamil Nadu, because they are Tamil speaking. I think that is where they're coming in. So please remember now, Tamil Nadu politics, refugee has no role. But once upon a time, the politicians have taken refugee as a vote bank. We are with them. They are not with us. I think that is where I want to, as a demographer, to separate out. Please don't play politics with migrants. You look at migrants as migrants. As migrants. I think that is what we have to do.
In India today, particularly in Assam, but also in BJP-ruled states like Haryana, Rajasthan, and perhaps Delhi, the police have started identifying alleged illegal Bangladeshis, many of whom perhaps are residents of our own Bengal and citizens of India, not illegal citizens from Bangladesh, but they are nonetheless pushed across the border into Bangladesh. How do you view this policy?
I think that is where I differ. I think rather than searching for them, we have to learn lessons from other countries, how they do the what is called the unregulated migration from the neighboring states or neighboring countries. In 1986, Reagan era in America had the amnesty. And in 2024, not sometime back, UAE, they announced 2 months. Anybody overstaying, please come and report. You don't need to put money. Tell them. Every district in West Bengal, every district in the country, a collector office is open. Anybody overstaying or anybody is not sure about their citizenship, they should go and report with your document. Look, I am being suspicious. This is my document. Okay, done. You are overstaying. Okay, we are giving you Indian citizenship. No, we are deporting. We are deporting. Very simple. It can be done at a local level and it can be done very immediately within 3 months. Even in Italy, they have done amnesty recently because that was done by the Justice Ministry, not by the Home Ministry. That is a justice. I think very, very important is that tomorrow India comes back with the amnesty for Bangladeshis. Anybody overstaying in our country without proper document, please report. We will make you citizen or we will deport you. Matter ends there.
Isn't there a danger, Professor Rajan, that if India declares an amnesty for illegal immigrants who've come, let's, for example, talk about illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, isn't there a danger that if you declare an amnesty, you will actually be encouraging more people to come illegally because they would hope a few years later there would be a second amnesty and then a third amnesty? You might end up encouraging rather than deterring.
No, I don't agree with that because as a migration person, there is always people want to move. People want to move for why people move. I think that is the question we have to ask. Why people are moving. Even within the country, people move to cities from rural to urban. So I think the important is that if Bangladesh feels they can get some good job, they will come. Even you do whatever you want, people will go. Like Indians are going to many countries. Their visas are rejected. They are going. They are going. Please remember that. So we have to work out a strategy to solve this in 6 months' time, along with other emerging demography, because demography is not just a undocumented migration. Very, very important. Demography includes immigration, fertility, mortality. You have lot of things in demography. That's why I was very glad he did not say migration mission. He said demography mission. That means he might have right now hindered immigration. Maybe he has in the back immigration. What can be done? Maybe what can be done with fertility. Maybe they have some background ideas. I don't know what is the, because the demography commission means not just migration. So he has something more to offer. We have no idea. It is still what is called confidential.
One thing we should remember is that there are illegal Indian immigrants in several countries of the world. America complains about illegal Indian immigrants who often go to America via Europe, sometimes via South America. And I have seen estimates that the total number of illegal immigrants in America could be anywhere between 1 lakh and 7 lakh. These are estimates that have been provided by different American institutions and authorities. So it's not just people coming to India illegally. Indians themselves are going to other parts of the world illegally. We need to bear that in mind.
You are right. So the undocumented migration is a global phenomena. Mexico, US, we used to talk about Mexican-US border. Now we are talking about Indians overstaying there. And it is, people talk about Indians overstaying in Europe, Indian overstaying in the Gulf countries. Lot of amnesty is coming up in the Gulf every time. And they can go to the Indian embassy, report and get a EC, exit pass and come to India. They'll buy another passport, they'll go. I think this is a global phenomena with some countries. That's why I said we should also use the global model of amnesty, because we have to also learn from other countries how we can manage this, because we cannot hold on saying this for the next 20 years. Bangladeshis are coming. No, we have to stop this at the moment. If we can solve this by December, for example, amnesty, 3-month notice, that's it. Everybody has to report. And you tell them officially order. Anybody who came to this place this time, you will be given or you will be sent back. Imagine how the undocumented migrants of Indians were treated by America, Donald Trump. Please remember, I was talking to a TV at the time. The way the undocumented migrants were sent back to India, I said they are not criminals. They were overstaying. They paid 1 crore Indian rupee and went to America to settle down. They are being cheated, but they were treated as criminal. They were not criminal. Partly, but we are not doing that. I don't think how many flights are leaving every day from India to Bangladesh with undocumented special flights. I have no idea on that. So please remember, it's a global phenomena, but we should work with a local solution. Please remember,
let me point out, Professor Rajan, that we are pushing people back across the border without any due process. Many people who've been pushed across the border turn out to be Bangladeshi. Many again turn out to be Bengali. And Bengal government is extremely angry that its residents and its citizens are being pushed across the border. So it's not just the Americans who treat people as criminals. We do too. Let's not forget that. But my last question, demographically speaking, how important an issue is illegal immigration? Or are there other demographic issues that require more urgent attention? Issues like religion, language, gender?
No, I think that, as a demographer, I think that demography mission, which is discuss beyond the illegal immigration. I think we have to look at our Indians are emigrated many countries. Their issues are very, very important. Very, very important. And we have to talk about low fertility. People are talking about when the delimitation is going to come up. Some states are already talking. I was sitting with the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister for a meeting. He said, how to increase fertility, sir? You tell me. Because he said, I'm going to lose some assembly seats. So there are issues on demographic dividend. There will be an issue coming up in a big way in India is what I call them silver dividend. Silver dividend is people who are above 60. And then you need care for the people who are 80 plus, elderly care, gender dividend. So there are many issues within demography where India can benefit and India can achieve double-digit economic growth if you use the demography properly.
But you're also saying
if you don't use demography properly.
But you're also saying that there are many issues within demography that are more important than illegal immigration.
Absolutely. You have internal migration. We saw during COVID-19. We had Vande Bharat flight, we have Sarmic trains. So we have internal migration is an issue, and then between that, the language is an issue. So I think there are issues coming up in our own country to handle the demographic issues. But this I would put like maybe the 10% of the demographic issue in the country. When you talk about 100%, yeah, demography mission, that mission can concentrate only 10%. 90% should be beyond undocumented migrants in our country.
My last question. If the Prime Minister was to ask you to join the demography mission, would you accept?
I will accept because I am doing it for many states, but I'll accept so that there will be no more guesstimates on this subject. No more guesstimate. Clearly reliable estimate by a demographer who is not a politician. That's why I said, I am not a politician, I am a demographer. And I will tell him that demography is beyond undocumented migration. It has several other things, and we can use demography properly, demographic dividend properly, silver dividend, gender dividend properly. India will achieve what is called the Viksit Bharat not in 2047. It may even happen in 2040. You can speed up your economic growth if you play demography properly. So if I am going to be part of the thing, I will play properly with him how to use demography in a much better way.
Professor Rajan, thank you very much for the time you've given me. I want to repeat what I think is one of the most important things you've said. We only have guesstimates of illegal immigration, and those guesstimates are done by non-demographers. And as you said, the total quantum of illegal immigration in India could be lakhs, it could be millions, we just don't know. But it is, whether it's lakhs or millions, a fraction, a fragment of the total 1.4 billion population of the country. I thank you for this interview. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you very much for our interaction. Looking forward to listening to that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.